Very quick side-by-side, instant funding, obviously no evaluation. You start immediately in the funded phase. Challenge model, you have to pass 1 or 2, and then the rules and the parameters, I'm not really gonna cover. Main difference here, max drawdown is 5% trailing and it locks at initial balance for the instant funding account, as we previously discussed. And then you have your static drawdowns over at the challenge phase.
I just wanted the listeners to understand that, like, for the two-step accounts, you can literally make 8% and then 5%. So you're up 13%, but you haven't even made 1 cent from Hydra, like from a payout from Hydra yet. Whereas with the instant accounts, you can literally start making money from day one. And that's why I am going to be going all in on the instant accounts, because it replicates me trading my personal trading account.
If you got the balls to go for it, go straight up, instant, get paid. You can make your first payout within your first week of trading. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hydra Funding Challenge Accepted podcast. And today's episode is actually a very special one because we are here to talk about, drum roll please, instant funding. Actually did it. That was supposed to be for Rick, but you know, hey James, you know, with the motorboat sounds, that also works. Today we're going to talk about instant funding because as of this video release, instant funding has arrived to Hydra funding, and we're very, very excited about it. So for those of you guys that don't want to do the challenge, because let's be honest, who really wants to do a challenge, right? You do a challenge to get to the funding. Instant funding kind of takes away all of that necessary, all of that unnecessary stuff. It's a completely different product. We're very proud of what we've built here because I think the rule sets are one of the best in the entire market. James here has been trading instant funding accounts, I think in the past month. He said he's kind of dabbled into it, likes the idea. And as far as our product that's coming out, we're first launching with crypto, and then the Forex instant funding side is also coming. So we're going to talk all about instant funding in today's episode, pros and cons, the differences between challenge models, instant funding, who it's for, who should buy it, and who should stick to the challenge models. But we're very excited to be rolling out this vein of products, and I think it's something that the community has been wanting and demanding. So as usual, we're bringing the product and we're listening to the feedback that you guys are giving us, and let's dive in and talk all about instant funding in today's episode. First question I'm going to have for James. I'm going to let James lead off this discussion. Biggest difference between instant funding versus challenge accounts. Why have you, since instant funding started becoming a thing, why are you kind of all in on that space?
Well, the main reason right now is I'm making more money from prop firms, right? I was actually finding, especially like in the last year, I would say, prop firms being very tough to kind of trade the two-step model. Like, I was actually having a look at some of my stats, and I was making money some months on my personal account, like it's good money. But I was looking at my prop firm stats, and I'm like, geez, why am I down on prop firms in terms of like payouts and that type of stuff? And just by looking at it like this, right? In instant funding has the consistency rules. Well, they will have consistency rules and the trailing drawdown. So there's those are the two things that are quite different compared to those two-step accounts. But the two-step accounts, you can, with Hydra, you have to make 8%, and then you have to make 5% to even get the funded account and start making money. So I mean, you can make 13% before even seeing 1 cent. So basically on the two-step accounts, what I was seeing in my own trading is like I was making, a lot of the times I was making 8% and then 5%, and then I'd maybe get a couple payouts, and then I'll hit a little bit of a drawdown streak. And whereas like the personal account, I'll be well up on it, because if you make 8% and 5%, you're up 13% on a personal account. That's pretty neat. So with the instant funding, you can actually treat this like a long-term thing and actually trade it more like a real account. For me personally, I am not a guy that can come in and look to like out, and it's probably something that I was doing and while I was trading a little bit with the two-step accounts, is like I'm not a guy that comes in and punts and like, oh, let's risk 4% on my to try and pass this challenge as quickly as possible. Like I just don't do well with that. I'm a guy that does better when I come in and I risk like 0.5% to 1% to trade and I can shake it slow and steady, and can do it that way, right? So I've been doing pretty well with the instant accounts in the last month, and I'm looking forward to Hydra coming out with them, because I think you guys are going to have some pretty solid rules that we've been chatting about. Maybe we can speak
We
about it.
will go through that in today's video, because I think by the time this video is out, I'm pretty sure the instant funding plans on the crypto side are going to be live. So we're going to give you all the details today, like later on in the episode.
But
Stay on if you want more rules.
I just want to, just before we head back to you, I just wanted the listeners to understand that, like, for the two-step accounts, you can literally make 8% and then 5%. So you're up 13%, but you haven't even made 1 cent from Hydra, like from a powered from Hydra yet. Whereas with the instant accounts, you can literally start making money from day one. And that's why I am going to be going all in on the instant accounts, because it replicates me trading my personal trading account.
Yeah, it's definitely the most realistic scenario and will reflect trading performance the best, because exactly as James said, right? If you had built up a 13% buffer, if you're up 13%, let's say on the year on your personal, accounts, right? Like, you're not going to be experiencing that same kind of like level of anxiety or like whatever it is when you're starting to be in drawdown. And that's one of the drawbacks of having a challenge model, which is because of the way that it resets, right? You have to, and especially if you're risking 0.5 to 1%, right? Which with, let's say, a 6 or 9% max drawdown margin is relatively thin. A losing streak, could easily wipe out, half, if not all of your, let's say, allotted risk, right? So in these types of scenarios, because there's a reset, you don't actually get that buffer. So you technically made 13% gain on your account, right, since you started trading, but that is not reflected in your funded account, right? That's how these challenge models work. And there's a reason why the 2 steps are always cheaper than the 1 step. The 1 step has always been more expensive. And of course, we have to talk about price with the instant funding. The instant funding is, of course, always going to be priced higher than whatever the 1 step is. So you now have 3 categories. So you can see the price kind of scale up. The easier or the faster it is to get to the payout, obviously, the higher the price is going to be. It's just natural how things.
But on that, for those that are listening, maybe for the first time, you can actually use the code JB for first-time purchases with Hydra. So if you want to come check out the instant
20% off.
You get 20% off. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking up a bunch of these accounts. So as I said, like, I think for me right now, I'm not going to be trading any other accounts besides instant accounts. There's just no, like, you can make money from day one, bro, compared to, as we've spoken about, like, and again, some traders might say, oh, well, they don't like the trading drawdown and the consistency rules. But for me and how I want to trade and how I trade well, it's slow, steady, and consistent. And the thing is also about this, Diwa, let's also speak about this. You can actually grow your balance over like a year and then decide to take a payout, because same as Hydra's 2-step and 1-step accounts, once you're after your first payout on the 2-step and 1-step accounts, your drawdown locks in at the initial balance. On the instant accounts, once the trailing drawdown reaches your starting initial balance, it's going to stay locked in there. So you can have 5-6% of the trading drawdown, and basically once it gets to that initial balance, so you make 6% or 5%, you can continue trading that account, and you can actually increase your drawdown, because if you're up 10% now, well, then you got a 10% buffer on your account, and you can continue trading it and take out a very nice payout, maybe like 6 months to a year later. So that's probably going to be my goal with some of the accounts, is actually trading it for like a 3 to 5, 6 month period, and taking out solid payouts there, because you're actually making money from day one on the account. It's not like you have to pass 2 phases. So there's an incentive to grow the buffer for me personally. So I'm excited, bro, for them personally.
Yes, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head, which is you can treat an instant funded account, right? Instant funding account exactly like your personal account, because that 13% buffer that you spent passing the 2 phases is now actually reflected in your balance. That's a huge deal. All right. So I want to go into a little caveat here. Like, with most instant funding, you're going to be trailing drawdowns, right? But our trailing drawdown over here at Hydra does not continuously trail endlessly. It stops once you reach the initial balance. So let's say, for example, you're on a $10,000 instant funding account. Your initial max drawdowns at 5%, right? It starts to trail. So by the time you're up 5%, that drawdown level is at the initial balance, pretty much, give or take. And any profit that you make after that, the trailing drawdown no longer moves. The highest the trailing drawdown ever trails to is the initial balance. I want to make that abundantly clear that that's how our trailing drawdown rule works. It does not trail you indefinitely, which I know some of the firms out there are doing that, but I don't think that that's a reasonable rule. For traders, it's going to be much better with a locked in.
So let me again, DY's explained it brilliantly, but let me also explain it. So again, let's say the trailing drawdown is 5%, trailing drawdown. Once you reach 5% in profit, the trailing drawdown does not trail anymore because now it's locked in at your initial balance. That's the easiest way to explain it. So once you are 5% or more in profit, it will stay locked in at, so let's say you got 100 grand instant funding account, you got 9 and your drawdown is 5%, your drawdown is at 95,000. You make $5,000 on it, so you're up to 100 grand, but now your drawdown is at 100 grand, the max drawdown you can have, and it does not move higher than that.
So you can go to 110, 120, 130, and your max drawdown is still going to be sitting at 100K. So technically, the minute you're kind of past that initial balance mark, it's really like trading your own account. You grow the profits however you want, you build the buffer however you want, up to you.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool because what I've seen, DY, at least for me and some of the futures companies, that they actually put traders into live markets because they have actually been growing these accounts for like over a year. Some of the traders on their platform, and that's pretty cool to see. So I think the instant funding has a lot more incentive for traders like me that actually do well trading with personal accounts, not so much coming to punt. And I think a lot of people won't like the instant accounts. In terms of the guys that want to come in and punt. If you're a punter, don't come in and trade instant accounts because you got the consistency rules and everything like that. But I think for traders that actually enjoy taking it slow and steady, I think I'm going to love them. So I have been loving them for the last month. I'm looking forward to Hydra releasing them in August. So yeah.
So let me run you guys through the side by side of the plans. I would usually be running you guys through the website, but as we're recording this episode, we're about a week out from actually launching everything live on the website. So I'm just going to run you guys through a little bit of the change document, the change log document that we have. So you know that you guys we're recording this. Like, you really have to know that if you're tuned into this channel, you're getting everything from the source. You're getting everything as early as I am allowed to give it to you guys. I'm always going to bring it to you guys here on this channel, where, we talk everything trading, life-related investments, Hydra, prop firms. So if you're still not subscribed, I just took a look at the channel analytics. All right, 87% of people watching this channel are not subscribed. So please, if you enjoy the content, you like what we're talking about and the content that we're bringing you daily, and you want to see more updates, please just hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, help us push that number closer. I want to see like at least 30% subscribed, by the end of the year, hopefully. So if you're watching this, hit the subscribe button. Trust us, we'll bring you always everything as early as we can. Any type of news in the industry, anything that's going on with Hydra and the new plans, you're going to find out right here first. So this is your source. Hit that button. We would sincerely appreciate it. And James is going to try to grow one hair on his head for every subscriber we have on the channel. So,
dude, I'm gonna start doing it. That was viral, bro. That's wild.
But yeah, let's dive into let's dive into the plans. I'm gonna go with you guys for a side-by-side comparison, especially for those of you guys that this is specific to the crypto plans, by the way. Forex instant funding is going to be coming very, very soon, but we're launching with our crypto side first. And this is just, there might be some small changes to the Forex plans, but this is kind of in general what you're going to see. All right. So very quick side by side. Instant funding, obviously no evaluation. You start immediately in the funded phase, right? Challenge model, you have to pass 1 or 2. And then the rules and the parameters, I'm not really going to cover it. Obviously, there's no profit target for the instant funded account because you're already funded. Main difference here, max drawdown is 5% trailing, and it locks at initial balance for the instant funding account, as we previously discussed. And then you have your static drawdowns over at the challenge phase. Now, this is something that I kind of want to touch on a little bit, and I think James will agree with this, that static drawdowns are much friendlier, I would
Yeah.
say, to beginner traders, right? So if you're starting out, right, like you should think about it this way. Challenge products are like if you're starting out and you're still testing the waters with prop firms, the trading or whatever, you're going to have an easier time just like trading the challenge accounts, mainly because there's no trailing drawdown and it's static, right? So if you look down at the next section here, trailing drawdown locks in an initial balance after first payout. This is something that's you're very used to seeing on the Hydra accounts. However, on our crypto accounts, actually the drawdown never moves. So it's always based on your initial balance. So even if you take a withdrawal on our crypto accounts, right, this is specific for crypto, the trailing drawdown, not the static drawdown still remains at whatever it originally was even after payout, but it doesn't work that way for the instant accounts, right? But everything locks in at initial balance. So it doesn't change how you manage the account. This is just after first payout. The drawdown always locks at initial balance and never trails like beyond it. That's always been our thing. So those are the main differences, right? Static versus trailing actually makes a very, very big difference. I have talked about this in previous episodes where like you have to understand that trailing drawdown makes something more difficult because you have to understand how to manage risk even better. Right. So for exactly. For a professional like James who really understands how the ins and outs of trading live money, understands how to manage risk, understands how to spread risk across different accounts, instant funding is going to be something that's very attractive.
Yeah.
But for those of you guys that are maybe still starting out, I would still say start with a challenge model, especially because the pricing is going to be about half. I don't have the exact like full pricing for you guys right now. You guys will be able to go to hydrafunding.io if you just click that link below. If you're watching this video right now, by the way, there's a 40% off sale going on. If you just check the description, it's only going till the end of July. So if you don't get this is your only chance to get this 40% off. This is the biggest sale that we've done because we're launching a brand new, very, very exciting product, and we would love for you guys to be a part of it. So the discount code will be in the description below, along with the link directly to our crypto funding page. If you're interested, go and check it out. We now have grown from 24 pairs to 111 pairs as well across our entire crypto trading platform. So we've massively increased the amount of coins that you degens want. I know you want your Trump coin and your Melania coin. Well, there you have it. Okay. Now, the people get what they want. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting things that have been happening. Obviously, like the amount of coins going from 24 to 111, that's a big jump, right? Instant funding coming, that's a big jump. Going on to the next section here, we have the consistency rule, which is at 33% across both. We used to have a profit cap on the 1 phase and 2 phase is another small modification that we're making. It was let's say it was an unpopular rule to have a profit cap. So instead, we've completely removed the up and down profit cap, the daily max win, the daily max profit, and the daily max loss. That's completely gone now. And it's just replaced with a simple 33% consistency rule, which I think most traders would prefer, especially crypto traders, right? So I personally, I think I like the 33% consistency rule much more than a profit cap because it doesn't affect my swing trades. If I have a couple good days and I'm running good, I'm not capped out on the high end. So I think that's something that is a little bit more friendly. Profit split, instant funding is at 75% fixed, and our regular challenge accounts are at 90% fixed, right? So the profit ratio is a little bit different. And then the fee, there's a little bit of a difference, in disable because on the instant funding, we do not have a $5,000 account. I believe this $35 price is for a $5,000, the smallest crypto account. So pricing wise, its instant funding accounts are going to be roughly, give or take, 2x the price of the same size account that you're buying in the challenge side. So just putting that caveat out there, and we have a very friendly minimum withdrawal of 2%. So the minute you make 2%, you can decide
and meet the consistency rules. Just to let
yes, consistency rule and min withdrawal. Those are the only two things that you really have to worry about. And honestly, like I was discussing this with James before, if you are a consistent trader, or just what the consistency rules for, it really shouldn't be too big of a consideration for you. I've seen firms out there, I think James trade firms that have like a 20% consistency rule or closer to that 20% mark. That makes it a little bit more annoying because you basically need to have, what is it, if it's a 20% rule, you need 5 days consistent topics to make that.
I know, and I've taken payouts with them, so that's why I'm super excited for Hydra to be launching as well. And the thing is also, do I think instant funding was quite big in the futures firms, and we've seen some futures firms do pretty well with instant funding. You know, even being able to a-book some traders, obviously not all of it, but like you manage the risk more efficiently from because there's the consistency rules and everything. But it encourages traders to actually see this like a long-term thing. And I've been working with Hydra personally for me as a independent contractor for over a year, and I've never had any issues. You guys have seen me take a couple payouts with them, but I'm really looking to ramp up with the instant funding, and I hope that you guys see this as a good opportunity for yourself too. So get a bunch of accounts and let us know how you're going.
Yeah, if you're here, you're early, so you got all the time. You can try out the instant accounts. Maybe if you make a payout, you can buy another one, right? We got about, like, I think by the time this video drops, there'll be about 2 weeks of sales going on. So I really want to let you guys know that this is a good opportunity. And if you're an early viewer, you got all the time in the world. So instant funding is here, and it is very exciting. And as you saw from the rules and the comparison that I explained to you, it's very, very straightforward. I think last video we saw some comments. Some guys are saying, yeah, I've tried instant funding with some other firms, and the rules are way too complicated for just a casual trader like me. I don't believe that any of what I've said just talked about. That's basically all the rules that we have for instant funding. There's no funny stuff. There's no, all the requirements are extremely reasonable and straightforward to understand.
I will say this is that when it comes to Hydra funding, there's no secret rules or anything like that. Whatever the rules are, that's what they are. Once you're trading on the account, you don't get to a payout and they're like, hey, hang on, your last name starts with a B. You're only getting 20% of your payout. You know what I'm trying to say? Dude, oh, James, you don't even have one string of hair. You get 10% for everything. So it's like
minus 1% for every hair you don't have on your head, James. That's the new rule. Just for you, just for James. That's going to be the new thing. And you'll see it on your dashboard very soon. I'm going to ask the team to add that in.
The hair sample test before you flip and take your path. No, honestly, you guys have been solid, and I'm really looking forward to these instant accounts. As I said, repeating myself now, but it's really, really going to be cool. I think I like how you guys are innovating as well. You got the futures, and there's literally everything that you need as a day trader, retail day trader. You guys have got retail, you got the futures, crypto, FX, and now you got the instant funding. So yeah.
So instant funding is coming to both the crypto and the Forex side. Just wanted to bring this to you guys so you hear it from me first and show you guys exactly the comparison, the plans. They are out and ready for you guys to purchase now. If you want to be funded and you don't want to do the challenge, now is your chance at 40% off. Click that link below, go to the website, go test it out. You will see what Hydra funding is all about. In 3 years, we've never missed a payout. We've honored every single one, even when accounts are breached, even when prohibited practices are made. We always honor payouts. That's been the ethos of the company. So go and experience that for yourself. You don't need to trade the stupid challenge anymore. If you got the balls to go for it, go straight up, instant, get paid. You can make your first payout within your first week of trading. So hope you guys are as excited about that as I am. I know that a lot of traders in the community with both James, everyone's been kind of messaging, DMing, asking, hey, what are the rules going to be? Well, now you have it. Now they're live. Go and do it. I want to thank you for tuning into today's episode. James, as usual, leave the viewers with some words of wisdom to last them until the next episode. Maybe tell them how.
Not the motorboat sound like in the beginning. No, I think, again, as I said, if you guys enjoyed, comment below. I'm going to be trading these instant accounts live in my trading room as well as on YouTube. So make sure to follow me there. DY and the team, make sure to put my links below. And then, use the code.
Link below, please. James's live trading channel. Go and watch him trade our live accounts.
Exactly. And if you have not purchased an account with Hydra before, you do get 20% off using my code JB. So make sure to check that out too. And then,
so if you're watching this video late and you're one of the guys that are late, okay, and the 40% off is over, you can go ahead and use JB for your first account. You don't get the 40%. So that's why you should hit that subscribe button right fucking now, because this is where you're going to hear everything first. Love you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out.